creating something beautiful, real, political, and I knew then that I wanted to do that too. Before I even knew I was trans, and long before I knew I was queer, I spent the next several years of my undergraduate career eager to make images like his. Yet, gaining access into the gay male community was not easy. In fact, I think gay men only let me photograph them because in my Jenko jeans and plaid shirts, surely they thought I was a lesbian artist. And yet I wasn't. So for years, I accessed the gay community by way of forming friendships, by standing in solidarity to support the people and causes I believed in. And every now and then, fearful I might be discovered as an imposter, a gender non-conforming straight woman, though was I ever that, really? I resorted to creeping behind the bushes, shooting beautiful gay men kissing on South Beach right from my head. Some nights, I would just sit on Lincoln Road observing these spectacular men, and their adorable damn dogs. I swear, for every 5 pictures of men I took, there were 3 of dogs. But I'd watch the men, young and old, their bodies, the way they moved, the way they flirted, the way they interacted. On these nights, I'd sit and I'd wait for the perfect opportunity to snap an image, but always longing in so many ways to be them, yet never understanding my feelings or where these feelings were coming from. As intimate as some of the images were, I always knew and remembered that I was an outsider. Over the next several years and many late nights in a dark room, watching images develop in bathtubs worth of chemicals, all of it left me feeling just as dark and dank inside. I wasn't Maplethorpe. I wasn't even a gay man. And over time, the images actually became much more painful to make. Years and years later, growing into my own skin presented me with a new opportunity. Bona fide access not into the gay male community, but instead the trans community. If there's anything I learned from my undergraduate career at the University of Miami, studying photography under Professors Carrie Coppin and Tomas Lopez, it is that making art can and often should be politically and socially relevant. In making art, we are consistently taking personal inventory that allows us to be honest with ourselves, with our history, and in turn with our imagery. I'm an avid believer in the power of images and in their ability to make an impact on the viewer and on society at large. It is also my belief that most artists do not actually decide to become artists. They are called to it. For many of us, making art is a social responsibility to effect change, to record history, to open minds, to expose wrongdoing, to provide increased visibility for marginalized folks. And yes, I have not only a calling, but also a gift. In fact, I've been duly gifted, first with the gift of the privilege to just make images, and second with the gift of being a queer, trans-masculine person. Like Maplethorpe, I am now an insider. I am a member of the very community in which I create my work. Thus, photographing trans people, trans journeys, trans bodies feels like a personal, social, and political responsibility for me. These days, I utilize photography as an experiential medium for accomplishing some very personal and political goals. Through these images, I hope to show the world what pursuing a physical transition means for some of us, what some trans people must endure to conform to binary expectations around gender. I read a quote last week by a gender non-conforming person. I'm sure some of you saw it as my cover photo on Facebook, and at times I've made it a profile picture. Alok Vignanan stated, "This is not a story of being born in the wrong body. It is a story of being born in the wrong world." And as I make images like these, I constantly ask myself, if our world did not beg us to conform to such rigid expectations around our gender, would we alter our bodies? Do we alter our bodies because we're forced to check a box on a piece of paper and we're trying to get ever closer to the box that just makes more sense than the other one? Or because we want to love and be seen in love in certain ways? Or do we alter our bodies because we inherently know who we are and we are just trying to make sense of it all, to make some minor corrections that nature may have missed? Although I'm a social worker by day, I have never stopped being that lost, inquisitive soul on South Beach, just trying to figure out why I feel the way that I do. Almost 15 years later, making images still helps me feel a little less lost. It also provides me with my own brand of activism at my disposal. I make images because art is my activism, and art and activism are my life. Because people are afraid of what they don't know, I want them to know. I want them to see what trans bodies look like, what some of us go through, in ways that are vulnerable, raw, meaningful, and Many, many trans folks have it right when they say being trans is not about our bodies. And yet, seemingly, paradoxically, you have me, right? You have a show all about bodies, a trans masculine person making work that appears to be solely focused on the bodies of trans people. I implore you to look deeper. So many of us spend so much time and energy trying to get our bodies to a place that just feels right, with society, with our lovers, with ourselves. And so we cut ourselves open and stitch ourselves back together again, only because we yearn for a place where there is calm. In my images, I hope you see not just bodies, but the pursuit of that calm. Beyond the scars and the stints and the stretch marks, I can only hope that there is calm.